Today on Robert's Guitar Dungeon, we're talking about the highlights from Winter NAMM 2018. That's right, Winter NAMM is now in the books. As always, there was lots of cool new products from lots of different vendors that were announced this week that these companies are coming out with, that guys like me and you are now clamoring to get our hands on. Let's talk about some of the highlights that I find most interesting and personally am very excited about. In no particular order, here are my top 8 favorite releases from the Winter NAMM 2018 show. Number 8, Yamaha FG TA TransAcoustic guitar. Apparently Yamaha released another version of the TransAcoustic guitars last year, or the year before, in the LL series, but I wasn't familiar that they were around. However, I did see the release on these this year, and it's a pretty interesting concept. I can't wait to get my hands on one. This is an acoustic guitar that has no cutaway. It does have electronics to be able to plug into an amplifier or a PA system of some kind, but the interesting thing about these TransAcoustic guitars is that they have onboard effects, specifically reverb and chorus, I believe, that do not require an amplifier or anything at all to be plugged into in order to hear. So I don't know if they're doing that with a speaker of some kind on the inside or what, but it's a really interesting concept. I've watched a couple of demos on YouTube about them, and they look very interesting. So me being a loyal fan of Yamaha products, particularly their acoustic guitars, I can't wait to try this one out. Number 7, Electro-Harmonix 95,000 looper. This is not typically something that I would gravitate towards because it looks like a very complex piece of equipment. But watching again a video from the EHX guys talking about it at the NAMM show and some of the features that it does, I can see various different types of uses in my own applications for it, you know, that actually go above and beyond looping. With a device this complex, I believe it'll hold up to 100 loops, and with a 16 gigabyte mini SD card, it will hold upwards of about 6 hours of music, I think is what they said. Again, this is something that's, you know, that's definitely going to take a learning curve, but again, for something this complex, the price point that I've seen on these is right around the $550 mark, which surprised me. I expected this thing to be going for a whole lot more than that. So definitely going to do some more research and see if this is going to be one to have, again, for my own personal applications, such as making YouTube videos. Number 6, the Laney LA30BL head. Last year, Laney released the 100-watt version of this head, which is essentially the Tony Iommi's Black Sabbath signature model head, and it nails those tones very well from what I understand and from what I have heard. The problem with this amplifier is it's 100 watts, it's extremely loud, and it's not exactly the most conducive thing to play everywhere. So Laney took the same amplifier and came out with a 30-watt version for some of those lower volume applications, such as at-home practice, studio recording, smaller gigs, things of that nature. From what I understand, the tone is, you know, all the tone and all the options and features that are on the big one, most of them are retained in the new smaller version. And again, this is one that that has my interest quite a bit. Number 5, PRS MT15 Mark Tremonti signature head. Speaking of amplifiers, PRS have come out with finally a new Mark Tremonti signature amp. They have had his signature guitars out for a number of years, and they're fantastic guitars. Mark Tremonti, of course, is known for being the lead guitar player in both Creed and Alter Bridge, as well as his own solo projects, and is a very well accomplished guitar player. He's always been known to use Mesa Boogie amps, and I've also seen him talk in high praises about the PRS Archon amps, but he's never had his own signature amp until now. Apparently, it's a 2-channel amplifier with a fantastic clean and a lot of high gain. And it's a small-sized amp, a 15-watt, but I believe they actually used 6L6 power tubes in it, as opposed to the normal smaller 6V6 power tubes, which are what you would normally find in a lunchbox size amp, which again is what this is. Hats off to PRS for going the extra mile and figuring out a way to put in a 6L6. It's also got some really cool red and blue LEDs that light up underneath the tubes that tell you what channel you're playing on. And overall, this thing just looks monstrous and has metal written all over it. I can't wait to get a hold of this. Number 4, Gamechanger Audio Plasma Pedal. This one I've seen all kinds of stuff about online, on social media and on YouTube. This was a big deal in NAMM this year. And with a company named like Gamechanger, you better put out some products that live up to your company's name, and they seem to be able to do just that. So apparently what they did, as with most distortion pedals, distortion and overdrive pedals, most of them are going to use vacuum tubes or diodes of some kind in order to create distortion inside their circuits. What Gamechanger Audio wanted to do was come up with a brand new way to create distortion out of a pedal, and they came up with the plasma circuit. This thing looks really cool. From the demos that I've heard, it's got some really cool fuzz tones, some really cool distortion tones, and really it's just unlike anything I've ever heard as far as distortion. This thing is really unique, and again, really cool. This pedal is going to be a real big hit, I think, with the Doom players and some of the, you know, with the Doom and metal crowd. I don't know what this pedal is going to sell for yet. I'm guessing it's probably going to be in about the $300 to $400 range, so it's not going to be cheap. But again, this is a really interesting pedal, and this one has the attention of not just me, but a lot of different people that I've talked to. So keep your eyes open for this one, because it's going to be big. Number 3, the Fender line of effects pedals. Fender have stepped up their pedal game and released a new line of pedals, 6 new pedals. I believe there's a boost, an overdrive with a boost in it, a distortion, and a compressor, as well as a delay and a reverb pedal. And these new pedals are not the same little cheap Fender plastic pedals that have been out there for sale for $30 or $40 forever. This is a whole new line of actual high-end Pro Series usable pedals. Solid metal construction. They've got tons and lots of options on it. There's even an option on these pedals to light up the LEDs on the knobs themselves, and you can turn that on and off. But that's very handy if you're on a dark stage and need to be able to see your settings. And again, you're able to switch that off should you should you be somebody who's wanting to run those pedals off of batteries, so you don't wear down your battery life as well. They seem to be very well thought out. The demos that I've heard so far, they all sound really good, and they all sound real cool. And you know, there's a couple of these that I would like to have in my own collection. To my knowledge, no pricing has been released on these yet. I have heard terms thrown around like reasonable as far as what these things are going to sell for. I'm guessing that most of them are probably going to be in about the $200 range. Number 2, Marshall Origin Series amps. I probably should have saved this one for number 1, because this is probably the one that I'm the most excited about. With the exception of the last video that I did, I have not spoken a whole lot about my love for Marshall amps, but I am a die-hard Marshall guy. Hence the one that I have here in the background behind me, which is one of my very favorite amps. I love Marshalls. All eras, all series, just about. They put out a few clunkers, but for the most part, I love Marshalls. And they have released the new Origin series, which at first glance, what I saw with these, particularly the 5-watt version, almost looked like it was kind of a replacement of the now discontinued Class 5 series from a few years back, which is also a good sounding amp. But with the Origin series, they did not stop at just the 5-watt. They have a 5-watt combo, they have a 20-watt head or a 20-watt 1x10 combo, and they also have a 50-watt head and a 50-watt 1x12 combo. And I think the 20-watt head and the 50-watt head, I believe, have the identical features on them, with the exception of the wattage. They both have a new type of wattage attenuation, meaning that in the instance of the 50-watt head, you can switch it from 50 watts down to 10 watts down to 1 watt, and in doing so, you won't lose any of the actual tone of the amp when you switch down to the lower wattage settings, which with a lot of power soaks, built-in amplifiers. This is something that's known to occur on those. However, Marshall's figured out a way to retain the actual tone of the amp when you turn down the wattage. They've also got some different boost features, and the best thing about it is these amps are, while they're not really high gain amps, they are really meant to be a throwback to some of the older style Plexi and Blues Breakers style amplifiers, again in a smaller, lower wattage, and most importantly, affordable package. The pricing that I've seen on these is right around between the $400 and $700 or $800 range, and I think the 20 watt head that I want is going to be priced at $549. Again, this is one that I'm really excited about. I've seen a couple of really cool demos online already. I will link those down in the description so you can check them out. Hats off to Marshall, and I can't wait to try these out. This one I will own. Number 1, Wampler EQuator pedal. Brian Wampler is one of the most brilliant pedal designers on the face of the planet. And if you're not familiar with Wampler pedals and you haven't tried out any of their stuff, his designs are second to none, and all of their pedals sound absolutely fantastic. I'm actually a member of the Wampler Pedals Tone group on Facebook, and fairly active, and Brian is very active in that group as well. And I saw on a comment from him about a year or two ago where he kind of teased that he might just in fact be working on an EQ pedal when somebody mentioned it. And sure enough, lo and behold, Winter NAMM 2018, Wampler releases an EQ pedal. And what's cool about this particular pedal is it's a cross between a parametric EQ and a graphic EQ, is my understanding. And all op-amp analog circuitry. I don't know what the pricing on this is going to be yet, but I am very confident in their designs and their products. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. And let's face it, who can't use an EQ pedal somewhere in their signal chain? If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday morning. All of my videos are in fact related to guitars and guitar related gear. So if you like guitars and guitar related gear, please hit the subscribe button. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what your favorite NAMM releases from this year might be. There's all kinds of stuff out there, and this list barely scratches the surface. Links to all the gear discussed in this video will be listed down in the description below. Some of this gear is already available for purchase or pre-order, I believe, from some websites. I will try to include a few places where it can be purchased already in those list of links as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. You know what? There are tons of young people out there that want to get involved in music and do not have the means to do so. If you are watching this video, most likely you're a musician, and many experienced musicians have tons of broken and unwanted gear lying around that they're not doing anything with. Please visit my friends at Share the Music on Facebook at the link below and learn how you and your unwanted gear can help change somebody's life.